Far away from Earth, deep in cold and silent space, an alien ship moved slowly between stars. The ship belonged to an advanced species known as the Corel. They were explorers. They had seen thousands of worlds. Most planets were simple. Some had life. A few had intelligent beings, but nothing ever surprised them anymore. This mission was routine. Scan stars, check planets, mark useful resources, move on. No emotions, no mistakes. At least, that is what they believed. The ship entered a small star system. A yellow star burned at the center. Around it, several planets moved in quiet circles. Nothing special, nothing important. The Corel crew did not expect anything unusual. "Scan the system," the captain said in a calm voice. The ship's systems activated. Energy waves spread across the system. Planets were analyzed one by one. Gas giants, rocky worlds, ice-covered spheres. Then, the third planet, blue, covered with water. Clouds moved slowly across its surface. The system paused for a moment. "Life detected," the scanner said. That was not surprising. Life was common in the galaxy. But then, the system continued. "Complex life detected." The crew became slightly interested. "Intelligent signals detected." Now the room became quiet. The captain leaned forward. "Play the signal." At first, it sounded like noise. Strange sounds filled the room. Voices, music, loud explosions, fast words. The crew looked confused. "This is communication?" one officer asked. "It is very unorganized," another replied. The signal changed. Now it was something else. A human voice. Angry, loud, emotional. Then another voice, calm, then scared, then laughing. The sounds kept changing. War sounds, news reports, music with heavy beats, people shouting, people crying. The alien crew felt something strange. This was not like other species. Most intelligent races sent clear signals, clean, structured, logical. But this was chaos. The captain frowned. "Translate it." The system began working. It was slow. Too many languages, too many patterns. "This species uses many different languages," the system reported. "Why?" one crew member asked. No one answered. The signals continued. Images now appeared on the main screen. Cities, huge cities, lights everywhere, vehicles moving fast, machines flying in the sky. But then the image changed. Fire, explosions, war, humans fighting each other, weapons firing, buildings falling. The crew watched in silence. "They are destroying their own world," one officer said. "Not fully," another replied. "They are also building." The screen changed again. Hospitals, scientists working, children learning, people helping each other. Then again, war, then peace, then chaos, then progress, again and again. The captain felt something unusual, confusion. "How can a species be like this?" he asked quietly. No one had an answer. The system continued scanning. "Technological level, low to mid," it reported. "No faster than light travel. No unified planetary control. High internal conflict." The crew relaxed a little. So they were primitive, dangerous to themselves, not to others. Just another unstable species. But then the system spoke again. "Warning." The room became tense. "What is it?" the captain asked. "Rate of development abnormal." The captain's eyes narrowed. "Explain." The system displayed a timeline, human progress. It moved fast, very fast, from simple tools to machines to flight to space in a very short time, too short. "This is not normal," one officer said. "They are evolving too fast," another added. The captain stood up. "Compare with standard growth patterns." The system did, and the result was clear. Humans were not following the normal path. They were jumping forward, making mistakes, learning, then jumping again, faster each time. The crew started to feel uneasy. "They fight each other, yet they grow stronger," one said. "They destroy, yet rebuild even better," another added. The captain looked at the blue planet again. Earth. It looked peaceful from space, quiet, beautiful. But now they knew the truth. It was not peaceful. It was loud, wild, unpredictable. Then something even stranger happened. The system picked up stronger signals, more recent, clearer. Humans were sending signals into space on purpose. Radio waves, messages, sounds, even images. "Why would they reveal their location?" an officer asked. "It is dangerous," another said. The captain thought for a moment. Maybe they do not know the danger, or maybe they do not care. The ship moved closer, still hidden, still silent. They observed more. Humans were looking at the stars, sending machines into space. Small ones, weak ones, but still they were reaching out, trying to explore, trying to learn, trying to find others. The captain felt something he had not felt in a long time: uncertainty. This species was not simple, not normal, not safe to ignore. "Mark this planet," he ordered. "Classification?" The captain paused. He looked at the screen one last time at the wars, the laughter, the chaos, the progress. Then he spoke slowly. "Unstable, but rising." But the moment that decision was made, something unexpected happened. A signal burst from the ship's system. Automatic relay, standard exploration protocol. The data they collected was sent far beyond this system, into the galactic network. The crew froze. That signal, a whisper came. "It has already been received." The captain turned sharply. "By who?" The system answered, "By multiple civilizations." Silence filled the ship. Then realization. The galaxy now knew about Earth, about humans, about this chaotic, growing species. The captain looked at the blue planet again. His voice was low. "Now, we are not the only ones watching." Far across the galaxy, different species received the same data. They saw the same signals, heard the same voices, watched the same chaos. And one by one, they stopped. They looked closer. They became curious. Because for the first time in a long time, the galaxy had found something unexpected, something confusing, something dangerous. And on Earth, humans had no idea. They kept living, fighting, building, dreaming, sending signals into the dark, not knowing that the darkness was now watching back.
Far across the galaxy, the signal spread like a ripple in still water. From one system to another, from one civilization to the next, the data about Earth moved quickly. Faster than any ship, faster than any warning. Soon, it reached powerful empires, ancient races, and young civilizations. And everywhere, the reaction was the same at first: silence. On a distant world covered in shining metal cities, the Xylar Dominion received the signal. They were a proud and powerful species, cold, logical, efficient. They studied the data carefully. Human voices played in their great halls, loud, emotional, uncontrolled. One Xylar commander spoke with a low tone. "This species is unstable." Another replied, "They are primitive, no threat." The room agreed. To them, humans were nothing special, just another young race that would destroy itself soon. They marked Earth as low priority and moved on. In another part of the galaxy, deep inside a glowing gas world, lived the Alaris Collective. They were different, peaceful, thoughtful, united as one mind. They did not laugh when they saw humans. They listened, carefully. They heard the music. They watched the wars. They felt the emotions. And something felt strange. One voice from the collective spoke softly. "They are divided, yet connected." Another voice added, "They suffer, yet they continue." They did not mark humans as weak. They marked them as unpredictable. Further away, hidden near a dying star, an ancient race known as the Threx Elders awakened. They were old, very old, older than most civilizations in the galaxy. They had seen countless species rise and fall. Nothing surprised them anymore, or so they thought. The data from Earth played before them, slowly, carefully. They did not rush. They watched everything. From the first human tools, to their wars, to their machines, to their voices reaching space. A long silence followed. Then one elder spoke. "This one is different." Another asked, "How?" The first replied, "They grow through chaos." The others listened. No one argued, because deep inside, they felt it too. Across the galaxy, more races joined the watch. The Karnak war clans laughed loudly. "A violent species, good. They fight each other already, weak minds. They will fall before they rise." To them, humans were entertainment, nothing more. The Valori traders, always looking for profit, had a different view. New species means new markets, resources, labor, opportunity. They didn't care about human nature, only value. The Sithari observers, silent and hidden, did not speak at all. They only watched, always watching. At first, the galaxy treated Earth like a small story, something to pass time, something interesting, but not important. But then, more data arrived, more signals, more evidence, and slowly, opinions began to change. Human history was analyzed in detail. Wars that should have ended them did not. Diseases that should have wiped them out did not. Disasters that should have destroyed their progress did not. Again and again, humans survived. And not just survived, they improved. The Xylar Dominion reviewed the data again. This time, they were not so quick to dismiss it. "Their survival rate is uniquely unusual," one officer said. "They should have collapsed many times," another added, "but they did not." The commander looked serious now. Update classification. The system changed from low priority to observe. The Alaris Collective also continued watching. They focused on human behavior. One moment, humans fought each other. The next, they helped each other. One moment, they destroyed cities. The next, they rebuilt them stronger. This pattern repeated again and again. The collective struggled to understand. How can one species hold such opposites? They asked. No clear answer came. The Threx Elders watched in silence. They studied the speed of human progress, and for the first time in many cycles, they felt concern. "They are accelerating," one elder said. "Yes," another replied, "and they do not slow down." The first elder spoke again. "If they reach the stars, they will not be easy to stop." Then came the moment that changed everything. A new signal, stronger, clearer, from Earth. It showed human technology, satellites, weapons, communication networks, and something else, intent. Humans were not just surviving anymore. They were preparing, exploring, looking outward, towards space. The galaxy felt it, a shift, small but real. The Karnak war clan stopped laughing. This species wants to fight beyond their world. The Valori traders became more careful. They may not be easy to control. The Xylar Dominion grew more alert. They are progressing faster than predicted. And then a question spread across many civilizations. A simple question, but a dangerous one. What will humans become? Some believed they would destroy themselves. Some believed they would grow into a powerful force. Some believed they would bring chaos to the galaxy. But no one could agree, because humans did not follow any known pattern. More and more systems began watching Earth. Hidden probes were sent. Long-range scans increased. Every movement was recorded. Every signal was studied. Earth was no longer ignored. It had become a point of interest, a point of curiosity, a point of concern. Back on Earth, nothing had changed. Humans continued their lives. They argued, they worked, they dreamed. They looked at the stars with hope, not fear, not knowing how many eyes were now watching them. And far away, on the Corel ship that first discovered Earth, the captain stood quietly. He looked at the reports coming in. So many species now knew, so many were watching. He spoke softly to himself. This was supposed to be a simple mission, but now it was something much bigger. Because the truth was clear now. The galaxy was no longer just observing a primitive world. It was watching a rising one. And deep inside the silence of space, a feeling began to grow. Not fear, not yet, but something close. Uncertainty. Because for the first time in a long time, the galaxy did not understand what it was looking at. And that was dangerous.
As the galaxy continued to watch Earth, curiosity slowly turned into concern. Humans were not behaving like other young species. They were not stable. They were not united. They were not predictable. And that made many civilizations uneasy. Watching was no longer enough. Some wanted answers. In a dark region of space, far from major galactic powers, a small alliance gathered. They were known as the Rathari Pact, not the strongest, not the oldest, but bold and impatient. They believed in action. "We cannot just watch," one commander said. "We need to understand their true strength," another added. "Data is not enough." Silence filled the chamber. Then the leader spoke. "We test them." The idea spread quickly among the pact. Not a full invasion. That would attract too much attention and possibly anger stronger empires. No, this would be small, careful, hidden, a probe mission. A fleet was prepared, small but advanced. 3 stealth ships, invisible to most known detection systems, fast, silent, precise. Their goal was simple: approach Earth, observe closely, apply pressure, measure response. Nothing more, nothing less. Back on Earth, humans continued their normal lives. Cities were busy, people worked, children played, leaders argued. Everything felt ordinary, but far above them, something had changed. The Rathari ships entered the solar system. They moved like shadows, no signals, no lights, no sound. They passed planets without stopping until they reached Earth. The blue planet turned slowly beneath them, calm, peaceful, from a distance. The Rathari commander studied the planet. "This is the species?" he asked. "Yes," an officer replied. "They look weak," another said. "No visible planetary defenses, primitive technology." Confidence filled the ship. "This will be easy," the commander said. The ships spread out across orbit. Each one took position above different parts of the planet. They began scanning, deep scans, surface scans, signal scans, everything. At first, nothing happened. No reaction, no response, just normal human activity. The commander smiled slightly. They do not even know we are here. But then, something changed. On Earth, in a quiet control room, a scientist looked at his screen. He frowned. That's strange. A signal appeared, weak, but unusual, not natural. He checked again, still there. Run it again, he said. The system confirmed it. Unknown movement in orbit. The information spread slowly at first, from one station to another, from scientists to defense systems, from defense systems to governments. At first, no one panicked. It could be an error, a glitch, a mistake. But then, more detections appeared. Different locations, different systems, same result. Something was there, something unknown. The world began to react, quietly, carefully. Satellites adjusted their paths, observation systems focused on the sky, military units received silent alerts. The Rathari ships noticed. "Commander, they are adjusting their sensors." "That is not possible," he replied. "We are cloaked." But the data was clear. Humans were not seeing them directly, but they were noticing something. Small changes, tiny signals, unusual patterns. "They are detecting the effect, not the cause," an officer said. The commander's expression changed. Interesting. On Earth, tension slowly grew. No one had full answers, but something was wrong. Leaders held emergency meetings. Scientists worked without rest. Data was collected, compared, analyzed, and then the conclusion came. We are not alone. The words were not spoken publicly, not yet, but inside secure rooms they were understood. Earth was being watched. The reaction was immediate. Not panic, not chaos, preparation. Defense systems activated worldwide. Missile systems were checked. Air forces were placed on alert. Naval fleets moved into position. Communication lines opened between nations. Nations that once competed now shared information. The Rathari commander watched all of this. His confidence was gone. They are reacting too fast. They should still be confused. They should still be guessing. But they were not. They were preparing. "Proceed with Phase 2, he ordered. One of the ships moved just enough, just a small action, a test. A short energy pulse was released towards Earth, not enough to destroy, not enough to cause mass damage, just enough to be noticed. It struck the upper atmosphere. A flash of light appeared in the sky, bright, strange, unnatural. On Earth, people saw it, across different regions. Videos spread quickly. What was that? Did you see that? Fear began to grow, but something else grew too. Determination. In military command centers, orders were given. Track the source. Prepare response. Do not wait. The Rathari ships detected sudden activity, weapon systems locking, signals rising, energy building. "They are targeting us," one officer shouted. "How? They cannot see us." But they could feel them, track them, predict them. The commander's voice was tense now. This is not normal. On Earth, systems worked together. Different nations, different technologies, different methods, all focused on one thing, the sky. And then it happened. A missile launched, then another, then many, from different parts of the world, fast, precise. The Rathari ships reacted quickly. They moved, dodged, activated shields. But something unexpected happened. One missile hit. The ship shook violently. Alarms filled the room. Direct impact, shield damage. The crew stared in shock. "That is impossible." The commander stood frozen. His voice was low. "They hit us." More missiles followed. Not perfect, not advanced, but enough to be dangerous. The Rathari ships pulled back, fast,
No longer calm, no longer confident. End the test, he ordered. Now. The ships retreated from Earth orbit, moving quickly into deep space. On Earth, the attacks stopped. The sky became quiet again, but nothing felt normal anymore. Humans knew, not everything, but enough. They were not alone, and something had just tested them. Back in space, the Rithari fleet regrouped, damaged, shaken, silent. The commander looked at his crew. No one spoke. No one needed to. They all understood. This was not a primitive species, he said slowly. This was something else. And far across the galaxy, the Watchers had seen everything. Every movement, every reaction, every strike. And now, for the first time, the galaxy was no longer curious. It was concerned.
The sky became quiet again. The strange lights were gone. The unknown objects had disappeared. But Earth was not the same anymore. Something had come. Something had tested them. And now, humans were awake. Around the world, leaders gathered in secret. Emergency meetings were held day and night. Scientists, generals, engineers, all were called. The message was clear. We are not alone. No one laughed now. No one ignored it. The proof was already seen. The sky had answered. At first, there was fear. People talked in small groups. They watched the news. They looked at the stars with new eyes. But something unexpected happened. Fear did not break humanity. It changed them. Countries that once competed started sharing information. Military secrets were opened. Technology was exchanged. Old enemies became temporary allies. Not because they trusted each other, but because they understood one thing. If something attacked Earth, it would not choose sides. In underground command centers, plans were created. Fast plans, not perfect plans, but strong enough. Weapons systems were upgraded. Satellite networks were connected. New defense programs were started. Everything moved quickly, too quickly, but that was how humans worked. They acted first, improved later. Above Earth, hidden in deep space, the Rithari fleet watched again. They had moved far away, but not too far. They wanted to understand what just happened. Inside the command ship, the atmosphere was tense. No one spoke loudly anymore. The confidence from before was gone. The commander looked at the damage reports. One ship was heavily damaged, shields broken, outer systems destroyed, all from a species that should not even detect them. This should not have happened, one officer said quietly. They are primitive, another added. They are divided, weak. The commander shook his head. No, we were wrong. He replayed the battle again and again. He watched the human response, the speed, the coordination, the aggression. They did not wait. They did not hesitate. They did not try to understand us first. They attacked. The room fell silent, because that was true. Humans did not try to communicate. They did not send peaceful signals. They saw a threat, and they acted. Prepare for another observation, the commander ordered, but this time we stay farther away. Back on Earth, preparation continued. Faster now, stronger now. Scientists studied the strange event. They analyzed the energy flash. They studied the missile paths. They reviewed every second of data. We hit something, one scientist said. Yes, another replied, something real. Not imagination, not theory, reality. Military leaders made new decisions. Improve targeting systems, expand detection range, prepare for another encounter. New satellites were launched, old systems were upgraded, radars became more sensitive, computers became faster. But the biggest change was not in machines, it was in people. Humans started thinking differently. The world was no longer just Earth, it was bigger now. Danger was not just from each other, it could come from above, from anywhere.
and that thought changed everything. In one country, a young engineer worked day and night. He improved missile tracking systems. In another, a scientist created better sensors. In another, pilots trained harder than ever before. No one waited for perfect conditions. No one waited for full understanding. They moved, they built, they prepared. Because deep inside, humans felt something. Not just fear, something stronger, defiance. If something comes again, we will be ready. Far above, the Rithari fleet observed the changes. They were shocked. "Look at the speed of their development," one officer said. "They are adapting," another added. The commander watched carefully. "They are learning from us." And that was the most dangerous part. Humans did not just react, they improved, fast, very fast. The Rithari ships stayed hidden. They did not attack again, but they kept watching. Then, something unexpected happened again. A human satellite moved differently. It changed direction suddenly, not randomly, not by accident. It was scanning. The Rithari crew focused on it. "It is searching," one officer said. "For what?" another asked. The answer came quickly. "For us." The commander felt a cold tension. They are hunting. The idea sounded impossible. A primitive species, hunting advanced alien ships. But the evidence was clear. Humans were not waiting. They were looking. More satellites joined. Signals increased. Patterns formed. Search patterns. "They are mapping space around their planet," an officer said. "They are trying to find us." The commander made a decision. Move farther away. The fleet pulled back again, deeper into space, farther from Earth, because for the first time they did not feel like hunters, they felt like prey. Back on Earth, the sky looked calm, peaceful, but behind that calm, everything had changed. Humans were not just reacting anymore, they were preparing for war. A war they didn't fully understand, against an enemy they could not see, but that didn't stop them. In fact, it made them stronger. Because humans had always fought the unknown, darkness, nature, each other. Now, they were ready to fight something new, something beyond their world. And far across the galaxy, the Watchers saw it all. Every step, every change, every improvement. And slowly, a realization began to spread. Humans were not just surviving, they were evolving. Through fear, through conflict, through challenge. And if this continued, if no one stopped them, they would become something much more dangerous. Not just a species, but a force. And the most dangerous truth of all, they had just begun.
The galaxy was no longer watching for curiosity. Now, it was watching with caution. Reports from many civilizations began to spread. Not just data, not just numbers, but warnings. The Rithari Pact sent their full report. Detailed, honest, uncomfortable. Humans are not weak. Humans are not simple. Humans are not predictable. At first, some still refused to believe it. The Karnak war clans laughed again. One small test and they panic? They are still divided. They are still primitive. But even they could not ignore one fact. The Rithari fleet had taken damage from humans. The Xylar Dominion studied everything again, carefully. This time they did not rush. They watched the recordings. Human missiles rising into the sky. Different nations acting at the same time. No perfect unity, but still effective. "They lack order," one Xylar officer said. "But they do not lack response," another added. The commander spoke slowly. "They are chaotic, but efficient in crisis." That was new. Most species depended on perfect systems, perfect control, perfect coordination. Humans did not. They made mistakes. They argued.
They disagreed, and still, when danger came, they moved together. The Xylar updated their classification again: high risk, unstable growth species. In the peaceful Elaris collective, the discussion grew deeper. They studied human emotions: fear, anger, hope, love. "Why do they continue?" one voice asked. "They suffer so much." Another voice replied, "Because they believe in something beyond survival." The collective did not fully understand, but they respected it. Meanwhile, the ancient Threx elders watched in silence. They had seen many species, some strong, some intelligent, some peaceful. But humans were something else. "They do not follow logic," one elder said. "They follow will." The others listened, because this was important. "Explain," one asked. The elder spoke slowly. "When logic says retreat, they advance. When logic says surrender, they fight. When logic says stop, they continue." Silence filled the chamber. Another elder added, "They do not calculate survival like others. They choose it." That was the difference. Across the galaxy, more reports came, more observations, more concern. Humans were changing, faster than expected. Their technology improved. Their detection systems became stronger. Their communication became faster. Their weapons became more precise. And all of this happened in a very short time. "They are learning from everything," one Valori trader said, "even from enemies they cannot see." That was dangerous, because most species needed time, years, decades, centuries. Humans needed much less. Back on Earth, the changes were clear. New programs were created, space defense systems expanded, global cooperation increased. Not perfect, not stable, but real. Scientists worked night and day. They studied space, they studied signals, they studied possibilities. "What if they come back?" one asked. "They will," another replied. And so they prepared. But something deeper was also changing. Humans were thinking differently. Before, space was a mystery, a dream, something far away. Now it was real. It was dangerous, and that changed how they saw themselves. They were no longer alone, and that thought created something powerful: unity. Not full unity, not perfect unity, but enough to stand together when needed. Far above, the Rithari fleet continued watching, but they stayed far away, very far. They no longer wanted to test humanity again. "They are evolving too fast," one officer said. The commander nodded. "Yes, and they are not afraid." That was the most dangerous truth. Humans feel fear. They knew fear, but they did not let it stop them. They used it. Fear made them prepare. Fear made them stronger. Fear made them fight harder. The commander spoke quietly. "A species that feels fear, but still fights." He did not finish the sentence. He didn't need to. Everyone understood. That kind of species was hard to defeat, and even harder to control. Across the galaxy, one idea began to spread, slowly, quietly. Humans were not just another young race. They were something new, something different. Some called them dangerous. Some called them unpredictable. Some called them a future threat. But one word appeared more and more in reports: relentless. Because that was the truth. Humans did not stop. They failed. They learned. They improved, again and again. And every time they improved, they became harder to face. The Threx elders made their final observation. "This species will not remain small," one said. "They will grow," another added. "And when they do, they will change the balance of the galaxy." Silence followed, because deep inside, every advanced civilization understood something now. They had made a mistake. They had watched humans like a story, like entertainment, like something distant. But humans were no longer distant. They were rising. And the most dangerous part, they remembered. They remembered the test. They remembered the attack. They remembered the unknown presence in their sky. And one day, they would look back at it, and they would ask one question: who was watching us? And when they found the answer, the galaxy would have to face them, not as observers, but as equals, or worse, as enemies.
Time passed. Not much by galactic standards, but for humans, it was enough. On Earth, change did not slow down, it increased, faster than ever before. The first signs were small: better satellites, stronger signals, more accurate tracking systems. Then came bigger changes: new engines, new materials, new ideas. Humans were no longer just watching space, they were moving into it. The first stations were built in orbit, not perfect, not beautiful, but strong. Then came ships, small at first, slow, limited, but they improved quickly. Every mission taught them something new. Every failure made them better. And they did fail, many times. Ships were lost, systems broke, people died. But humans did not stop. They rebuilt, they improved, they tried again, and every time they went farther. Far above, hidden in deep space, the Watchers saw everything. The Rathari Pact no longer moved close. They stayed far away, watching in silence. "They are expanding," one officer said. The commander nodded. Yes, and faster than expected. The Xylar Dominion updated their reports again. This time, the words were different. Emerging spacefaring species, high adaptation rate, potential threat. The tone had changed. No more underestimation, no more dismissal, only caution. The Alaris Collective observed with deep focus. They felt the emotions of humanity even from far away. Hope, fear, curiosity. "They are reaching outward," one voice said. "They are searching," another added. "For what?" a third asked. The answer came softly: "For others." That made the collective uneasy, because now contact was no longer a possibility, it was coming. The ancient Threx elders made their final observations. "They have crossed the first barrier," one said. "Space is no longer beyond them." Another elder spoke. "They will not stop here. They never do." Across the galaxy, tension began to grow. Some civilizations prepared defenses, others hid their systems. Some debated making contact first. "Should we guide them?" one asked. "Or stop them?" another said. No one agreed, because no one truly understood humans, and that was the problem. Back on Earth, the first deep space mission was launched. A human ship, simple compared to alien technology, but powerful for its kind. Its mission was clear: explore beyond the solar system. The crew knew the risks, they knew the dangers, but they still went, because that is what humans do. They move forward. The ship left Earth, past the moon, past the outer planets, and then it entered deep space. For the first time, humans were no longer protected by their home system. They were out there, in the unknown. The galaxy watched closely, every movement, every signal, every step. The Rathari commander spoke quietly. "They are coming." Not as observers, but as participants. The balance was changing, slowly but clearly. Humans were no longer just a story. They were becoming a presence, a force. And then, something happened that changed everything. The human ship detected something, a signal, faint but real, not human. The crew froze. For a moment, no one spoke. Then the captain said,
follow it. No fear, no hesitation, only curiosity. The signal grew stronger, and far away, hidden in darkness, a Rithari observation drone received a message. Humans had found something. The commander stood still. They are already reaching us. The truth became clear. It was too late. The galaxy had waited too long. They had watched, studied, judged, but they had not acted. And now, humans were stepping into their world, not as a weak species, but one that had survived everything, one that had learned from every challenge, one that was not afraid of the unknown. Across the stars, a final message began to spread, from system to system, from civilization to civilization, a warning, simple, clear. The species known as humans has entered the galaxy. Reactions followed, some prepared for war, some prepared for contact, some prepared to run. But deep inside, they all felt the same thing, regret. Because they remembered the beginning, the signal, the chaos, the early days. They had seen it all, and they had underestimated it. Now they understood. Humans were not dangerous because of their strength. They were dangerous because of their nature. They did not stop. They did not accept limits. They did not fear the unknown. They moved toward it. And now, they were here. The Threx elder spoke one final time. We have seen many species rise, but this one will change everything. Silence followed, because no one could deny it anymore. The galaxy had made a mistake, and now it would have to live with it. As human ships moved deeper into the stars, as their signals spread further, as their presence grew stronger, one truth became impossible to ignore. They were no longer being watched. They were the ones arriving.